Serena Vale rested one pale hand on my head and told a table full of millionaires, "Theo is not my boyfriend. He is my pet." For 3 complete seconds, nobody moved. I counted because counting was safer than asking which decision had ruined my life most efficiently. Was it answering Serena's call that morning? Accepting $500 to attend one family dinner? Or believing the coldest woman at Northbridge University understood that fake boyfriend and household animal were separate professions? I removed her hand from my black hair and placed it carefully beside her plate. "We need to review the contract," I said. "I agreed to wear a suit and pretend you had chosen me. I did not agree to stop being human before dessert." Serena's icy blue eyes narrowed. Her long, silver lavender hair fell over one shoulder, perfectly straight and perfectly still. Most people would not have noticed the change in her expression. I had spent 6 months working beside her. On Serena, half a narrowed glance was the emotional equivalent of a chair being thrown. "Pet is an affectionate category," she said. "To whom? People who value loyalty. Your mother just heard you describe me like a quiet dog." At the head of the table, Helena Vale lowered her wine glass. She was the founder of the Vale Foundation, chairwoman of a family empire, and the mother of 4 daughters who had each developed a different method of terrifying strangers. Her slow smile made my instincts search for the nearest exit. "He corrects you in public," Helena said to Serena. "How unusual." "He does it constantly." I am beginning to understand the appeal. The oldest sister reached for a legal pad. Vivian Vale wore a dark burgundy suit and kept her long, deep purple hair pinned over one shoulder. She was 30, a corporate attorney, and looked capable of cross-examining gravity. "Before this becomes worse," Vivian said, "did Theo consent to the word pet, the hand on his head, or any private arrangement our mother should know about?" "No, no, and absolutely not," I answered. Across from her, the pink-haired youngest sister lifted both hands in delight. Roxie Vale was 22, a fashion student, part-time streamer, and apparently born without the organ responsible for caution. "Then Serena's ownership claim is invalid," she announced. "I volunteer to adopt him." "You cannot adopt an adult at dinner," said the woman beside me. Lena Vale had long, honey-blonde hair, soft, gray-green eyes, and a white dress simple enough to make the diamonds around the table look desperate. At 26, she managed the foundation's urban gardens and avoided publicity so successfully that I had never seen her photograph. Roxie pointed at her. "That sounds like something a rival guardian would say. That sounds like something a person would say. Joint custody, then." "No custody." Serena's voice cut through both of them. I pushed my chair back. "Excellent. The pet has emancipated himself. Dinner was impressive. I will remember the soup and attempt to forget everything else." Serena caught the sleeve of the charcoal suit she had selected for me. The second I looked at her fingers, she released the fabric. She remembered one of the conditions I had repeated that morning. No grabbing me to sell the performance. "Theo," she said, "you agreed to help me stop the Ashford arrangement. My promise was to support you while you informed your family that you had made your own choice. That is what you are doing." "No. According to you, I am sitting, shedding, and waiting for somebody to refill my bowl." Roxie covered her mouth to hide a laugh. Vivian wrote something. Lena watched Serena rather than me. Elena's smile disappeared. "What exactly did you tell him about Graham Ashford?" she asked. Serena's fingers tightened around her napkin. I looked between them. That was the first moment I understood the dinner contained a second lie. She told me the family would reopen her engagement unless she arrived with proof she had chosen her own partner. Helena became very still. "Did she?" Serena stood. "This conversation is unnecessary." "That usually means it is overdue," Vivian said. Roxie leaned across the table toward me. "I claimed first custody during the soup. I want that entered into the record." "There is no record," Lena said. Vivian turned her legal pad around. At the top, she had written, "Theo Mercer, consent failures." "There is now." I looked toward the double doors. A driver waited beyond them. Nothing prevented me from leaving. Serena was no longer touching me. She was not blocking the exit. She simply stood close enough for me to see that beneath her perfect posture, she was afraid. Not of her family, of me walking out before she could explain. Helena noticed me noticing. "Mr. Mercer, the agreement you accepted ends when dinner ends," she said. Serena will pay the full amount whether you leave now or stay. No driver, employee, or daughter of mine will interfere. Thank you. However, if you voluntarily remain through Sunday evening, I propose an experiment. Each of Serena's sisters will spend time with you under rules you establish. Not to win you, to show Serena the difference between caring for a person and arranging one. Serena's eyes turned glacial. Mother, you brought a guest into this house under incomplete terms and humiliated him when attention became uncomfortable. I am not rewarding that. And what exactly am I? I asked. Teaching material? Helena accepted the question without offense. If you agree, yes. That is why the terms must benefit you, too. I don't need money. Then ask for truth. Her gaze moved to Serena. My daughters are very good at protecting family secrets, less good at surviving them. I should have left. Instead, I thought about Graham Ashford, the arranged engagement Serena claimed could be revived. I thought about Helena's reaction and Serena's refusal to answer. I also thought about my apartment, where a burst pipe had soaked half my ceiling that morning. My roommate Owen had reported that the repair crew currently considered buckets an architectural solution. Until Sunday at 6, I said. I choose every location. I can end any meeting without explanation. Nobody touches me, tracks me, photographs me, posts about me, or changes my university work without asking. If I say leave, the conversation ends. Vivian wrote each condition in clean, block letters. Roxie slowly placed her phone face down. Lena nodded. Serena said nothing. One more, I added. Nobody calls me a pet unless I am allowed to charge a humiliation fee. How much? Roxie asked. Enough to bankrupt your sense of humor. Impossible. It is a protected family asset. Helena looked at Serena. Do you accept his rules? Serena's answer came through a clenched jaw. Yes. Then ask him to stay. That finally broke her composure. The terms are established. That was not a request, Helena said. Serena looked at me. I could see her searching for a sentence that did not expose need. Staying would be useful. Try again. Her sisters watched with 3 different forms of fascination. Serena's voice dropped. Please stay until I explain. It was not much. For her, it was blood on white snow. Until Sunday, I said. Her shoulders lowered by a fraction. My phone vibrated. $500 arrived from Serena's account, exactly as promised. Roxie glanced at the notification. Congratulations! You are officially the highest-paid pet in the county. That sentence just cost you $50. She sent it immediately and labeled the payment emotional damages. By the time dessert arrived, the 3 sisters were arguing about a custody schedule over my head, while I sat between them with legal authority to leave and an unreasonable desire to discover why Serena had wanted me there so badly. The strangest part was that I already knew I would not choose the person who fought hardest to keep me. I would choose the one who made leaving feel safe. I just did not know which sister that would be. 8 hours earlier, my life had been ordinary. I was a 23-year-old audio engineering student with short, messy black hair, a demanding scholarship, and 2 jobs. I edited campus lectures and ran sound at a jazz club. Serena Vale entered my recording booth at 9:15, carrying 2 coffees and a problem. At 24, she was famous for impossible grades, silver lavender hair nobody had seen out of place, and silencing rooms without raising her voice. We met during a housing documentary. She handled research, I recorded interviews, and we argued whenever her scripts made people sound like statistics. She called the arguing inefficient, then scheduled extra meetings. That morning, she placed 1 coffee beside my keyboard. Caramel, I said after tasting it. You want something terrible. I need you from 6 until 10. That was not phrased as a request. She said a 1-page agreement on the console. Attend dinner at my family estate. Wear formal clothing. Allow my relatives to believe we are dating. Absolutely not. $500 to replace your club shift and compensate discomfort. You priced my discomfort before asking whether I had plans. Serena sat in the chair beside me. She rarely sat unless a meeting had an agenda. My family negotiated an engagement between me and Graham Ashford, she said. I rejected it. They will reconsider unless I demonstrate I have chosen someone independently. So choose someone. Her gaze stayed on mine. I did. The booth suddenly felt smaller. For 4 hours, I clarified. For dinner. No kissing, no invented history, no public announcement. Agreed. And if anybody asks why you like me, I will say you are competent. Romance lives. She almost smiled. I accepted because my apartment was half flooded, my jazz shift was easy to replace, and the woman who never requested anything had crossed campus carrying my coffee. Before I signed, I added a sentence allowing either of us to end the performance at any time. Serena read it twice. You expect me to trap you? I expect both of us to behave better when escape remains possible. She signed beneath the new clause. At 5, a car took us to the Vale estate. Serena supplied a charcoal suit and waited outside while I changed. When I emerged, she reached for my tie without asking. I stepped back, and she corrected herself. May I fix it? Yes. She straightened the knot and released it. For a moment, we stood close enough that I could see uncertainty beneath her calm face. Nervous? I asked. No. You tied the knot too tight. She loosened it. My mother notices hesitation. Vivian questions it. Roxie broadcasts it. Lena remembers it. And what do you do? Prevent it. That answer told me more than she intended. Dinner began well. I met Helena, the sisters, and 6 relatives who treated the seating arrangement like international diplomacy. Serena kept her hand near mine without touching. When questions became personal, I answered honestly enough to irritate everyone. Then Helena asked whether Serena intended to bring me to the foundation gala the following month. Every face turned toward us. Serena's fingers tightened beneath the table. She could have said we had not discussed it. She could have ended the performance. Instead, fear reached her mouth before trust did. She placed her hand on my head. Theo is not my boyfriend, she said. He is my pet. And that was how a 4-hour job became a family custody war. After dessert, Vivian moved everyone into the library and drafted the weekend rules. The room had 2 levels, 3 fireplaces, and enough books to make weather feel optional. Helena sat near the central fire. Vivian claimed the desk. Roxie lay upside down on a sofa. Lena stood beside the windows. Serena remained by the door, visibly offended that exits existed. Friday morning belongs to me, Vivian said. Roxie receives Friday afternoon. Lena receives Saturday. Why does Lena receive an entire day? Serena asked. Roxie sat upright. That question arrived wearing jealousy. It arrived wearing arithmetic. Lena tucked a strand of honey blonde hair behind her ear. I can take less time. No, Serena said too quickly. Their eyes met. I leaned against the desk. I decide when each meeting ends, remember? Vivian crossed out every fixed finishing time. Correct. Serena looked away first. Lena showed me to a guest suite after the meeting. She handed me a key, demonstrated the lock from inside, and left the number of an independent car service beside the bed. The east gate stays open all night, she said. You do not need to tell anyone if you leave. Your mother already promised that. Sometimes it helps to hear the same truth from someone with less authority. She turned to go. Lena, she paused. Are you actually competing? No. Roxie will be devastated. Roxie experiences devastation every time a battery reaches 10%. She survives. Then why participate? Lena glanced toward the hallway. Because Serena needs to learn something. And because you looked alone at a table full of people. She left before I could turn the answer into a joke. Serena appeared 7 minutes later. She stood outside the room, hands at her sides. You embarrassed me, she said. You introduced me as property. It was meant to reduce questions. It increased them by 3 sisters and 1 legal pad. Her gaze hardened. You challenged me in front of my family. Because you changed the agreement in front of your family. The label was not important. It was the only thing you gave them. Silence stretched between us. I stepped closer to the doorway but did not invite her inside. Why did your mother react when I mentioned Graham? We will discuss it Sunday. That sounds like another schedule I did not approve. I need time. Then ask for time instead of assigning it. Her control slipped for 1 second. Please do not leave tonight. The honesty surprised both of us. I agreed to stay. I keep agreements when other people do. Pain crossed her face. I did not intend to humiliate you. Intent describes the scene in your head. Respect describes what you notice after reality begins. Serena absorbed the sentence without defending herself. Good night, Theo. Good night, Serena. She walked away. 5 minutes later, a message appeared on my phone. I am sorry about the word. I do not yet know how to explain the reason. It was a poor apology and an honest confession. I saved it without answering. Vivian knocked at 7:30 wearing her burgundy suit, carrying coffee and a folder about my apartment lease. She had requested the landlord's standard repair policy without using my name. You investigated a burst pipe before breakfast. You happened to be standing beneath it. Vivian drove an ordinary gray sedan rather than one of the family cars. She handed me a schedule only after asking whether I wanted to see it. The morning included breakfast, a visit to the Vale Foundation legal clinic, and lunch wherever I chose. This is your idea of custody? My idea of care is solving the problem that will still exist after everyone stops making jokes. And my apartment is the problem? One of them. The other is your scholarship contract. It includes a morality clause broad enough to punish you for becoming a meme. I stopped with the coffee halfway to my mouth. How would the university know about dinner? It does not. Yet. Serena's comment was recorded by a catering assistant. One of our security staff found a deleted upload attempt overnight. You were not going to tell me until when? Vivian's expression tightened. Now. That is why I began with it. Serena knows? Yes. She ordered the security team to locate every copy before you woke. Of course she had. The video concerned me. Serena had responded by organizing the internet around my sleeping body. Tell the staff to stop, I said. You want the clip online? I want evidence preserved and decisions made with me in the room. Removing a file without knowing who recorded it could hide the person using it. Vivian studied me. You are correct. She called security and changed the instruction. No argument. No appeal to expertise. Serena would have needed 3 objections and a diagram. The legal clinic occupied a converted train station. With no photographers or plaque displaying her name, Vivian spent 2 hours helping restaurant workers recover missing wages. She gave me receipts to organize and stopped supervising after I proved I understood dates. During a break, we sat on the old station platform with paper cups of terrible coffee. Without the suit jacket, Vivian looked less like a courtroom and more like an exhausted woman who had spent years arriving before other people's disasters became public. Serena called the clinic 4 times last night, she said. About the video? About you. Whether the guest room locked properly. Whether the repair company had entered your apartment. Whether your scholarship office opened on Fridays. She could have asked me. Yes. Vivian did not translate Serena's behavior into romance. I respected that. She cares through logistics, Vivian continued. It looks impressive until the person being cared for realizes every path has been selected in advance. You sound familiar with it. I taught her some of it. After our father died, I became the sister who prevented surprises. Serena decided prevention was the same as safety. Is it? No. Safety includes a door. Prevention removes one. A black sedan stopped beside the platform. Serena stepped out in a dark blue dress beneath a fitted coat. Her silver lavender hair moved in the river wind. Vivian checked her watch. You are 2 hours early. Security identified the caterer. You own a phone. Serena looked at me. The clip has not spread. I can contain it before noon. Vivian changed the order. We preserve the original and identify who requested it. Her eyes moved toward Vivian. That creates exposure. For me, I said, which is why I choose. Serena's jaw tightened, but she nodded. Understood. Vivian leaned back against the bench. My time with Theo ends after lunch. The purpose of the morning is complete. The purpose is whatever he decides it is. Both sisters looked at me. I am staying with Vivian, I said. We have not eaten. Something flashed behind Serena's eyes. I can have lunch delivered to the estate. That was not the reason. She stopped. This was the point of Helena's experiment. Serena could solve hunger, distance, and weather. She could not control the fact that I wanted another person's company. Enjoy lunch, she said. She returned to the sedan without asking me to follow. Vivian watched the car disappear. That was jealousy, she said. I would usually bill for identifying it, but this weekend has become pro bono. Final assessment? You do not need a guardian. You need allies who provide information before acting. That sounds almost kind. Do not repeat it. I have a reputation. At noon, the video appeared on 6 campus accounts at once. The clip lasted 11 seconds. Serena's hand rested on my head. Her voice carried clearly. Theo is not my boyfriend. He is my pet. Memes added a silver collar and adoption forms. The worst headline came from Northbridge Society Watch. Vale heiress buys scholarship student for private entertainment. That headline turned a humiliating joke into an accusation. My department chair emailed within minutes. A conduct review would determine whether I had accepted undisclosed payment connected to university research. The $500 suddenly looked like evidence of something ugly. Vivian offered an emergency injunction. File it against the original account, not the students reposting it, I said. And disclose the dinner contract to the university before somebody edits it. That may create more attention. Hiding it creates more suspicion. She nodded once and handed me her phone. Call your chair. I will listen only if you want counsel. I wanted counsel.
By 1 o'clock, the university had the contract, proof that the payment covered a private dinner, and a formal complaint against the anonymous account that had used my scholarship status. Serena sent 7 messages during the process. I read only the last. Tell me what you want me to do. It was the first useful question she had asked all day. I replied, do nothing publicly. Ask before contacting the university. Find the person behind the coordinated accounts, then give the evidence to Vivian and me. Her answer arrived immediately. Yes. Roxie collected me outside the clinic at 2 in a convertible the color of emergency candy. Her pink hair was tied into 2 high tails. She wore a cropped black jacket, red plaid trousers, and the expression of someone arriving to rescue a friend from a responsible adult. Custody transfer, she called. Release the defendant. Vivian handed me a copy of the university disclosure. He is not a defendant. Everyone is a defendant if you believe in yourself. Roxie tossed me a black cap with fabric ears. I charged $50, so she paid and produced a plain backup. You knew I would refuse. Consent is predictable. Comedy requires preparation. Before getting into the car, I held out my hand. Phone. Roxie pressed it to her chest. You wound me. Your family thinks a boundary becomes more valid when written. Mine says no filming. She turned off the camera, sealed the phone in a transparent dashboard bag, and disabled the car recorder when I asked. This is destroying my creative process. Growth is painful. Roxie's plan was a street music festival beneath the old railway arches. Murals covered the brick columns, food stalls crowded the lanes, and 3 local bands competed on stages built from shipping pallets. You brought an audio engineer to speakers wired with extension cords in the rain, I said. I wanted to see whether your eye would start twitching. My professional fee is higher than the pet fee. Then consider this emotional enrichment. The main stage technician recognized me from campus and begged for help with a feedback problem. I asked Roxie whether she minded. Your time, she said. I am only the fun-shaped transportation. We spent 40 minutes rewiring monitors. Roxie carried cables, followed instructions, and resisted filming me even when the crowd cheered after the sound cleared. When I climbed down, she offered her palm for a high five, then paused. Touch permission? Granted. Our hands met. Awful, she said. I felt my personality becoming accountable. At a food stall, 2 students recognized me. One mimed patting my head. Roxie's smile vanished. She started toward them. I caught the back of her jacket. No war. Her eyes dropped to the fingers holding her jacket before returning to my face. Permission to verbally remove their confidence? Denied. Permission to stare? Your face, your decision. Roxie turned a bright smile toward the students. They remembered somewhere else they needed to be. You are all terrifying in specialized ways, I said. Mother believes in diversified assets. We ate noodles on the river steps. Roxie kept her phone sealed on the dashboard, but she borrowed mine to examine the viral posts. These 6 accounts use the same caption punctuation, she said. That is agency scheduling software. How do you know? I may be chaos, but chaos has analytics. She opened the metadata on a downloaded clip. The first upload had passed through a media server operated by Ashford Public Relations, Graham Ashford's family. The caterer did not spread this alone, I said. Somebody paid for the original, then scheduled humiliation like a product launch. Roxie sent screenshots to Vivian only after asking me. Are you actually fighting Serena for custody? I asked. No. You paid $50 to call me a pet.
That was philanthropy. Why participate then? For the first time, her energy softened. Because everyone around you is turning the weekend into a lesson. Vivian wants you protected. Lena wants you heard. Serena wants you near enough that fear stops making noise. And you? I wanted you to remember you are allowed to enjoy something while angry. She pointed toward the festival. A person can be humiliated online and still eat fried dough. Both facts fit in one afternoon. That answer stayed with me. We entered an escape room tent shaped like an abandoned subway car. Roxie ignored half the clues, pressed every forbidden button, and somehow opened the final lock with 11 seconds remaining. Outside, she bought me a stuffed black dog from a rigged carnival game after failing to win it 5 times. This is not pet-related, she said. It has a silver collar. Coincidence created by manufacturing. Another 50. She paid. At 6:30, rain began. Roxie asked permission before pulling me beneath the awning of a closed shop. We ended up shoulder to shoulder, laughing as festival workers chased flying paper signs. Then Roxie looked across the street. Winter has arrived early. Serena stood beneath a dark umbrella beside the Vale sedan. Her blue dress and silver lavender hair made her look like the night had appointed a manager. Her gaze moved from Roxie's hand on my sleeve to the stuffed dog beneath my arm. Your time ended at 6, Serena said when she reached us. Roxie checked the clock above the station. My time ends when Theo ends it. Family law changed last night. Serena looked at me. The driver can take you somewhere private. How did you know where we were? The university safety application still shares your location with our documentary team. I opened the app. Serena was right. Months earlier, our group had enabled emergency sharing during field interviews. You used a project setting to follow me. The video made public locations unsafe. You owed me a question before using it. I feared your answer would be no. The sentence came too quickly. All 3 of us heard the larger truth inside it. I disabled location sharing. I'm going home to my apartment. Alone. Serena's fingers tightened around the umbrella. The ceiling is still being repaired. I have a bedroom door and buckets. The estate is safer. Safety I cannot refuse is just a cleaner cage. She flinched. Roxie stopped smiling. Understood, Serena said. No persuasion, no order to the driver. She gave me the umbrella and stepped back into the rain. Keep it, I said. The station entrance is farther for you. Ask. Her voice went quiet. Will you take it? I accepted. Roxie drove me home. Before I got out, she held up a sealed phone bag. Final custody report. Subject displays sarcasm, basic wiring competence, and alarming attachment to personal freedom. Recommendation, release into the wild with snacks. Subject? I learned nothing from Vivian. $50. She paid and smiled. Tomorrow is Lena. You make that sound dangerous. Vivian makes people feel defended. I make them forget to be miserable. Serena makes them feel necessary. Roxie's bright expression became unexpectedly serious. Lena makes people feel like they can stop performing. Be careful what you do with that. I watched the yellow car disappear. Upstairs, Owen had arranged 5 buckets beneath the damaged ceiling and labeled them after stages of grief. How was billionaire custody court? He asked. I placed the stuffed dog on the kitchen table. I have been charged $100 in emotional damages and may lose my scholarship. So, successful first date? There were 3 women, a lawyer, and no date. I am going to need a larger bowl of cereal. My phone vibrated. Serena had sent 1 message. I removed the location permission from the entire project group. I will not use it again. I was worried. That does not make the choice mine. I read it twice. Then I answered, "Thank you for changing it." The typing indicator appeared, vanished, and did not return. For once, Serena allowed an ending she had not written. Lena arrived Saturday at exactly 9:30, holding coffee and a canvas bag. Her honey blonde hair was tied loosely above a pale gray coat, and unlike Serena, she did not look past me to inspect the ceiling. "May I come in?" she asked. "You remember doors exist. Promising start." Lena handed me a cup. 2 sugars, strong enough to remain coffee. "How did you know?" "At dinner, you added 2 sugars and forgot to stir. You drank it anyway." "That could mean I prefer badly mixed coffee."
Then I have already failed custody. The joke sounded strange in her careful voice. I laughed and she looked pleased with herself. What is in the bag? 3 possible plans. I can show you or we can ignore them. Show me.
The options were the Vale Conservatory, a used record market, or returning to bed and pretending her family had never met me. I chose the first 2. Lena drove an old blue hatchback with dirt on the floor and gardening tools in the trunk. It looked almost rebellious beside the Vale fleet. At the market, nobody treated Lena like an heiress. She knew which vendors overcharged and which traded equipment for rare plant cuttings. I found a damaged portable recorder identical to the first machine my father gave me. He died when I was 16. The recorder vanished during one of my mother's moves. The vendor wanted too much. Lena did not buy it secretly. She asked, "Do you want help negotiating?" "I can negotiate." "Then I will admire from a safe distance." I repaired the vendor's speaker for half the price. Lena held tools and listened while I explained the worn motor. "You look different when you work," she said. "Sweatier? Less prepared to defend yourself." The comment made me look up. She did not apologize for seeing me. She simply gave the observation back and let me decide what it meant. A woman near the next stall recognized us from the video. "Is that Serena Vale's pet?" she whispered loudly to her friend. Lena's shoulders tightened. I expected her to defend me. Instead, she asked, "Do you want to stay?" The question returned my attention to the only decision that mattered. No. We left through the side lane. Outside, Lena exhaled. "I am sorry. You did not post it." "No, I wanted to say something clever and cruel." "Why didn't you?" "Because making myself feel powerful would have kept you standing there." That answer followed me to the car. The Vale Conservatory occupied an old railway depot beneath the glass roof. Saturday visitors usually filled its tropical gardens, but Lena had arranged 2 private hours before opening. "Is this different from Serena controlling the environment?" I asked. Lena considered the question rather than rejecting it. "Possibly. I reserved privacy because cameras make me anxious. I should have told you before asking you here. Do you want the doors opened?" "No. I want to understand why they are closed." "Then now you do." We walked between citrus trees and pools filled with water lilies. Morning light turned the glass roof silver. Lena knew the history of every greenhouse, but forgot the names of half the board members who funded them. In the orchid room, a broken pipe spread water toward a live extension cord. Lena stopped when I warned her. I disconnected the power, and together we shut the valve and moved the plants. She worked without ordering me and accepted instructions without competition. When the emergency ended, both of us were soaked. She looked at the muddy streak across my charcoal jacket. "Serena is going to kill a pipe. The jacket belongs to me. That is why she will kill the pipe rather than us." Growth. The manager brought towels and a staff shirt reading, "Ask me about compost." Her sweater was wet, so she borrowed my jacket while her clothes dried beside a heater. Seeing her wrapped in it created an unfamiliar warmth beneath my ribs. Not because she wore something Serena had chosen, because Lena looked comfortable enough to forget what the jacket represented. We ate sandwiches in a maintenance room beside the orchid house. No silverware, no schedule, no one arguing about custody. Lena turned the repaired recorder over in her hands after asking permission. "Will it work?" "The motor needs cleaning. The microphone is probably damaged." "Can I help?" "Do you repair electronics?" "No, I'm asking whether I can learn." I removed the back plate and showed her each component. Lena listened without pretending to understand. When she lost a screw beneath the table, she crawled after it and returned with dust on her cheek. I reached toward her, then paused. "May I?" She nodded. I brushed the dust away with my thumb. Neither of us moved immediately afterward. Her eyes lowered toward my mouth. The control room door opened. Serena entered. She stopped when she saw Lena wearing my jacket, my hand near her face, and the open recorder between us. Her expression remained composed. The air temperature disagreed. "The university moved your conduct meeting to Monday morning," she told me. Lena stepped back but did not remove the jacket. "You could have sent that information," she said. "The email includes confidential attachments. Phones can receive those." Serena ignored her. "Theo, our investigators confirmed Ashford Public Relations paid the catering assistant. Graham denies authorizing it. Do you believe him?" "No." "Then send everything to Vivian and me." "Already done." "Good." Serena looked at the recorder. "What are you doing?" "Repairing something." The foundation employs technicians. I did not ask for one. Her gaze moved to Lena again. Mother expects everyone at the estate at 4. Is that a request from your mother or an order from you? The foundation board called an emergency session tomorrow. The viral post claims I used grant money to purchase access to a scholarship student. Graham's family is demanding I be removed from the education committee. The external threat was real. It still did not answer the question. Do you want me at the estate? I asked. Your testimony may be necessary. Do you want me there if it isn't? Serena looked toward the glass wall. The meeting will be more efficient if everyone attends. Lena closed her eyes. I set down the screwdriver. Then no. Serena's face changed before the wall returned. Understood. She left. Lena removed my jacket and placed it beside me. You can keep wearing it, I said. I do not want Serena to think I am using you to hurt her. Are you? No. Then do not make my clothing part of a conversation we are not having. She looked at me. You are right. Lena put the jacket back on. That should not have felt like a choice about me. It did. At 3, Vivian sent an encrypted file containing the Ashford payment records and the original engagement cancellation. I opened the second document first. Serena Vale and Graham Ashford had formally ended their arrangement 19 days before she entered my recording booth. The family could not have reopened it without Serena's written consent. She had not needed a fake boyfriend. She had wanted me at dinner and created a crisis because wanting was a request I could refuse. The recorder slipped from my hands onto the towel. Lena saw the screen. She told you it was still active? She said it would be reconsidered unless she proved she had chosen somebody. Theo, do not explain her. Lena stopped. I was going to ask whether you wanted to leave. The difference nearly broke something in me. Yes. She drove me to the estate because my overnight bag and audio equipment remained there. Neither of us spoke during the first half of the trip. I kept thinking about Serena sitting in my recording booth with caramel coffee. Her statement had sounded vulnerable because I believed she was risking rejection. She had removed the risk before she entered. At the estate, Helena and Serena were arguing in the music room. The engagement ended before Thursday, Helena said. Why is Theo still here? Because the weekend agreement is unfinished. The weekend exists because you wanted another reason to keep him near you. That is not relevant. It is the only relevant thing. I entered. Serena saw my phone and understood immediately. Theo, you did not need a fake boyfriend. I intended to tell you. When? After the board meeting. After you needed my testimony. That is not why. Then tell me why now. No efficient language, no schedule. Her composure splintered. I wanted you beside me. The truth hurt more than the lie because part of me had wanted the same thing.
An honest invitation was the only acceptable option.
I was afraid your answer would be no.
Yes.
Serena went silent. I crossed to the desk, took the original dinner agreement from my bag, and placed it between us.
You paid me to remove the answer you were afraid of.
I paid you for the shift you missed.
You invented the emergency that made the shift necessary.
She reached toward me and stopped before touching. I could not bring myself to invite you simply because I was afraid to face dinner alone.
So you turned me into equipment, something useful you could book.
No.
That is what your intention created.
Serena looked as if I had returned my own sentence from Thursday, sharpened. I am sorry, she said.
For the lie or for finding out?
For deciding your answer before I asked. It was the right apology. It arrived after too many wrong choices.
I am leaving.
She closed her eyes. Understood. No argument, no instruction to the gate. I lifted my bag.
Helena stepped forward. Theo, I owe you an apology too. I turned your humiliation into a lesson for my daughter. You gave me the option to leave. And a wealthy family matriarch asking a scholarship student to stay is not a neutral invitation. I should have ended the game at dinner. I respected her enough to accept the full truth. Thank you for saying it. Outside, Lena waited beside her car. Serena followed me only as far as the front steps. Will you attend the board meeting? She asked. Vivian will tell you after I decide. May I contact you? I considered it. Only about the university case until Monday. All right. Rain began as Lena pulled away. 10 minutes from campus, my hands started shaking. She saw but did not comment.
She stopped beneath the canopy of a closed garden setter and turned off the engine. Do you need water, food, silence, or something I did not name? Silence. She waited. Rain struck the roof in soft, uneven waves. My breathing slowed.
After several minutes, I said, "You can ask now."
Ask what?
Whatever you have been avoiding since the recorder room. Lena kept both hands on the wheel.
When this ends, no family contest, no viral video, no Serena in the next room. Would you want to see me on an ordinary day?
The answer was yes. I did not give it yet. Ask me after Monday.
Because you need time?
Because I will not choose you as a reaction to her. You deserve an answer that belongs to you. Lena's shoulders softened.
Then I will ask after Monday.
She did not call the answer a promise. That made it feel like one. She returned from the vending machine with water, then requested permission to cover my hand with hers. I said yes. Her fingers were warm and still. She did not squeeze as if trying to pull me out of the feeling. She simply remained. I might have gone to dinner if she had asked honestly, I said. I know. That is what makes me feel stupid. Trust is not stupidity. It is permission.
She used yours without renewing it.
I looked at her. Do all Vale sisters speak in lines that would look expensive on stationery?
Vivian invoices us by the metaphor.
I laughed, and the shaking eased. At my apartment, Owen opened the door wearing rubber boots and carrying a cooking pot. The ceiling has entered acceptance, he announced. He looked at Lena, our joined hands, and my face. I also made soup. Lena stayed only long enough to make sure I was not alone. At the door, I returned her dry sweater from the canvas bag. Our fingers caught in the fabric. For 1 second, we stood close enough to kiss. She stepped back first. After Monday, she said. After Monday. My phone rang as she reached the stairs. The caller introduced himself as Graham Ashford. Serena has hidden enough from both of us, he said. I think you should hear why my family is using that video. Graham chose a 24-hour diner across from the university police station. The location told me he expected suspicion. I arrived Sunday morning with Vivian as my attorney. Lena waited at a separate table because I asked her to come, and because she refused to turn concern into permission to overhear. Graham Ashford entered alone. He was 27, tall, neatly dressed, and calmer than a man at the center of a family scandal had any right to be. He placed his phone, wallet, and a sealed envelope on the table before sitting. The envelope contains the cancellation agreement and messages between my father and our public relations director, he said. Read them before believing anything else I tell you. Vivian opened the documents. The engagement had been a proposed partnership between the Vale Foundation and Ashford Education Holdings. Serena and Graham had never dated. Both signed the cancellation after discovering Ashford schools were hiding scholarship fees inside mandatory housing contracts. Graham's father, Richard, wanted the arrangement restored. He could not force either of them to marry, but he could make Serena look unstable and remove her from the committee investigating the fees. The viral video created the perfect story. A wealthy heiress paying a scholarship student to act as her pet. Your father scheduled the posts, I said. Yes, Graham Ashford's signature did not appear, but the messages directed the agency to frame you as a purchased beneficiary. He planned to demand an ethics vote, then offer to withdraw the complaint if the Vales approved a partnership. Why help us? Graham stared at his untouched coffee. Because I spent a year allowing our families to describe obedience as duty. Serena ended the arrangement first. I should have helped expose the school contracts then, but relief made me silent. Vivian examined him. These messages implicate your father in commercial defamation and interference with a university proceeding. I know. You may lose your position.
It was never mine if silence was the condition.
He looked at me. Serena told you the engagement could return? She invented a reason I would accept. That was wrong. I had expected him to defend her. The absence of defense made his next sentence more credible. She mentioned you when we canceled, he said. Not by name. She said there was someone at the university who challenged every efficient answer she gave and made her want to become less certain. That sounds almost hostile. For Serena, it was poetry. Vivian did not smile. Affection does not excuse fraud. I agree. I am telling Theo because he deserves the complete shape of the lie, not because he owes her a kinder response. That ended the meeting. Graham left the evidence with Vivian and walked out without asking me to save Serena, forgive her, or condemn his father. Lena joined us after he left. "Do you want to know what he said?" I asked. "Only what you want to tell me." I explained everything.
When I finished, she asked, "Does knowing Serena cared change how you feel about the lie?" "It makes the lie sadder, not smaller." Vivian closed the envelope. "The foundation board meets at 5. Richard will present the video, the payment, and the university review. We can expose his agency, but your testimony determines whether his story survives." "There it is again," I said. "Someone needs me in a room." "Yes." Vivian did not disguise necessity as romance. "You can refuse. The evidence still exists. The process will take longer, and Serena may be suspended, but nobody is entitled to your public humiliation as a defense exhibit." I looked through the diner window toward the university. If I stay silent, Ashford keeps using scholarship students as props in the same story he wrote about me. I am attending from my name, and for those students. "I will put that in writing," Vivian said. "Why?" "So nobody claims your reason belongs to Serena."
At 4:30, the Vale Foundation auditorium filled with board members, reporters, university officials, and cameras. The viral video played on a screen above the stage. Watching Serena's hand settle on my head at that size felt worse than seeing it on a phone. Laughter rippled through part of the press section before Richard Ashford approached the microphone. He was an older version of Graham, except ambition had removed every trace of doubt from his face. "This footage raises a simple question," he said. "Did Serena Vale use foundation resources and institutional power to purchase a vulnerable student for private purposes?" He displayed the $500 transfer, my scholarship profile, and photographs of the Vale car collecting me from campus. Each fact was true. Together, they told a lie. Richard requested Serena's removal from the education committee, cancellation of the investigation into Ashford's school fees, and appointment of a joint oversight team led by his company.
Blackmail had dressed itself as ethics. Helena spoke first. "The payment came from Serena's personal account. The dinner concerned a private family matter. No foundation resource funded Mr. Mercer's participation." Richard smiled. "The distinction is convenient when the heiress and institution share the same staff, vehicles, and estate." Vivian presented the original agreement and proof that I had negotiated the fee before the dinner. She also disclosed Serena's false statement about the engagement. Several reporters reacted. Serena sat at the end of the board table in a dark blue suit, silver lavender hair falling straight down her back. She did not interrupt or hide behind her attorney. Richard turned toward me. "Mr. Mercer, were you told the engagement was already canceled?" "No." "Would you have attended if you knew Serena did not need a fake boyfriend?" "I do not know. She prevented me from answering." "And did you consent to being called her pet?" "No." His smile widened. "Then you agree she used money and deception to control you?" "I agree she lied. I agree the label was humiliating. I do not agree that your company cares." The room became quiet. I faced the board rather than Richard. "Serena made choices she had no right to make for me. We are dealing with that privately and honestly. Ashford Public Relations secretly purchased the video, edited the caption, distributed it through coordinated accounts, and contacted my university before I had even seen the post." Roxie sat behind Vivian with a laptop open. At a signal, she displayed metadata linking every First Wave account to the same Ashford server. "Chaos has analytics," she whispered loud enough for 3 microphones to capture it. Vivian gave her a look and introduced Graham's messages. Richard's face changed. "Stolen private correspondence is not evidence. It was provided by a participant," Vivian said. Graham entered through the side door. Reporters surged to their feet. "I provided it," he said. "My father ordered the campaign after Serena and I rejected the partnership. He intended to trade withdrawal of this complaint for control of the scholarship investigation." Richard stared at his son. "Sit down." "No." One word separated a man from an inheritance. The board called a recess. In the corridor, Serena approached me slowly. "May I speak to you?" "About the hearing?" "About what I will say when it resumes." "Then yes." She held a prepared statement, but did not hand it to me. "My advisors want me to describe pet as an awkward private joke."
They want to say the payment proves a normal acting arrangement and the family experiment occurred after you volunteered. All of that is defensible and incomplete. Yes. She tore the statement once down the center. I am going to admit I misled you and apologize publicly. The board may suspend me even after Richard's evidence collapses. Are you asking whether you should? Serena looked at the torn pages.
I am telling you because the apology concerns you. Would a public statement make the situation worse?
She had finally asked before fixing. Use my name. Do not describe my feelings. Do not ask for forgiveness in front of cameras. Understood. And support an independent review. I already requested one. Of course you did. The corner of her mouth moved, then disappeared. When the hearing resumed, Serena stood without notes. Ashford Public Relations manipulated the footage and lied about foundation funds, she said. That does not make my own conduct acceptable. She faced the cameras. I asked Theo Mercer to attend a family dinner after falsely implying an engagement might be restored. I paid him for work he missed, but I created the need for that work. At dinner, I called him my pet without consent because admitting I wanted his support made me feel exposed. Afterward, I tracked his location and attempted to control information concerning him. Whispers filled the auditorium.
Serena did not stop.
Theo is not a beneficiary I purchased, a dependent I manage, or evidence of my independence. He is a person whose choice I deliberately made difficult. I apologize to him. I will cooperate with an independent review and step away from decisions involving Northbridge University until it concludes. She sat. No dramatic tears, no claim that fear excused harm, just accountability with consequences attached. Helena then admitted the family custody contest had used me as an instrument to teach Serena. Mr. Mercer established boundaries, and we treated his continued presence as permission to turn those boundaries into entertainment, she said. The Vale Foundation will fund independent counsel for every student targeted by the Ashford campaign, with no condition that they defend this family. The board voted to suspend the Ashford partnership and continue the school fee investigation under an outside auditor.
Richard was referred to regulators and removed from the Joint Education Council. Serena remained on temporary leave by her own request. Nobody won cleanly. That made the result feel real. After the hearing, the university chair asked me to remain for a private meeting. The conduct review scheduled for Monday was canceled. My payment had been disclosed, my research remained independent, and the coordinated defamation campaign was now documented. My scholarship was safe. Outside the auditorium, dozens of reporters waited. Vivian offered a private exit. Do you want it? She asked. I thought about spending the entire weekend being moved away from discomfort for my own good. No. I want one statement. We walked through the main doors. Microphones surrounded me. I said, the video was humiliating. Turning it into a lie about scholarship students was worse. Serena Vale has acknowledged her choices. The Ashford campaign has been exposed.
I will not answer questions about which sister owns me because no one does. Roxie made a tiny, disappointed sound behind me. I decide where I go next, I continued. That is the only custody update anyone will receive. The line became the headline by evening. For once, the internet quoted me correctly. The Vale sisters gathered in a private foundation conference room after the press left. There was no dinner table, no schedule, and no legal pad. Vivian removed the custody page from her folder and fed it into a shredder. My professional assessment, she said, is that the matter lacks jurisdiction. Roxie placed the stuffed dog on the conference table. I withdraw my adoption petition under protest. I request weekend visitation at music festivals. Request it like a normal person, I said. Theo, would you like to attend another festival when nobody is being blackmailed? Maybe. This consent system contains suspense. I hate it. Lena stood near the windows. She did not move toward me or declare victory.
Serena entered last. She looked exhausted without appearing fragile. For the first time, her hands were empty. No phone, no schedule, no prepared paper. May I have 10 minutes? She asked. With everyone present? I said. All right. She faced her sisters first. I interrupted each of you because I was jealous. I treated the schedule like permission to monitor Theo and called that concern. I'm sorry. Vivian nodded. Roxie opened her mouth, saw Serena's expression, and let the joke go.
Lena said.
Thank you.
Then Serena looked at me. Pet was the wrong word, she said. Not only because it was insulting, I chose it because it made my attachment sound smaller and safer than it was. The room remained silent. After my father died, every need became a problem Vivian or my mother had to solve. I learned that the person who needs less controls more. Then I met someone who argued when my solutions erased people. Her blue eyes held mine.
I began checking whether you ate before late recording sessions. I learned which jazz sets kept you after midnight and which coffee made you forgive mornings. I told myself this was project management. It was not. Serena's breath shook. I wanted you at dinner because standing beside you made choosing my own life feel possible. I lied because I could not tolerate a no. Then every sister who treated your no as real showed you a form of care I had refused to learn. She did not step closer. I love you. I know saying it changes nothing you owe me. You may refuse. You may choose Lena. You may leave without answering. I will not interfere. Hope remained in her face. She did not use it as pressure. I believe you, I said. Her shoulders loosened. And I care about you. Hope brightened. But I will not build a relationship around waiting for your control to become tenderness. The hope went still. I continued because kindness without clarity would only recreate the trap. You can change. You already started. But change cannot be the debt that keeps somebody beside you. Serena closed her eyes briefly. It is, Lena, she said. Yes. Lena's fingers tightened against the windowsill, but she did not approach. Serena looked at her sister. Do not apologize. Lena's lips parted. I was going to. I know. Empathy becomes predictable when one studies it long enough. A faint, tired smile passed between them. Serena turned back to me. Why her? The question held pain, not accusation. Vivian gave me information before action. Roxie gave me an afternoon that belonged to me. You made me feel necessary. I looked at Lena. She made me feel unnecessary, in the best way. I did not have to solve a crisis, perform a role, or prove I deserved to stay. When I asked for silence, she let silence remain. Serena nodded once. Understood. She looked toward the door but did not leave immediately. The remaining video copies can be removed under the injunction. Do you want that? Yes. No statement pretending it never happened. Agreed. May I forward future updates through Vivian? Yes. That was the clearest evidence of her change, not the confession. The question after the answer she did not want. Serena left with Helena. Vivian followed after giving me her card without a surprise retainer. Roxie collected the stuffed dog. Can I keep this for our future festival visitation? Yes. Custody victory. $50. She paid on her way out. Then only Lena and I remained. She looked at the clock. It is still Sunday. I noticed. You asked me to wait until after Monday. The review was canceled early. Bureaucracy has accidentally supported romance. Her cheeks colored. Do you want me to ask now? I thought about Serena's confession, the cameras outside, and the exhaustion vibrating through my body. Tuesday, I said. An ordinary one. Lena smiled. Tuesday. Tuesday arrived, cold, bright, and completely free of board hearings.
Lena waited outside my building at 9:30. I came downstairs 30 seconds early and hid behind the lobby door until the clock changed. She caught me anyway.
You were waiting inside. I reject the accusation. Your reflection was visible in the glass.
The Vale family must stop solving mysteries through reflections.
She laughed. I wore my charcoal jacket. For a moment, I had considered choosing another because Serena bought it. Then I remembered Serena had purchased fabric, not permanent meaning. The jacket belonged to the person wearing it. Lena took me to a small breakfast cafe where the menus curled at the corners and nobody cared about surnames. We ordered coffee, eggs, and pancakes that she insisted were dessert, pretending to be responsible. For the first 20 minutes, we did not discuss Serena, the video, or custody. We argued about music. Lena believed plants grew better with classical piano.
I believed the study she quoted confused music with employees remembering to water them.
You are insulting 10 years of conservatory research, she said. I am requesting a larger sample size. Vivian has infected you. She invoices by the metaphor. When our coffee arrived, I noticed Lena used milk and no sugar. You are memorizing it, she said.
I am learning. There is a difference.
Explain.
Memorizing can become a way to predict you. Learning should help me ask better questions. Her expression softened.
That sounded suspiciously healthy.
I had an expensive weekend. After breakfast, we walked beside the river. Bare branches reflected in the water, and the capital skyline looked pale through morning fog. Lena kept her hands in her coat pockets. You promised a question, I said. She stopped near the stone railing.
When everything is ordinary, no family contest, no one watching, would you still choose to spend time with me?
Yes.
The answer came before fear could decorate it. Lena's shoulders lowered.
Because I was the morally correct sister?
There is nothing morally correct about your opinion of pancakes.
Theo,
I stepped closer. Because you let me repair my own recorder and asked whether you could learn. Because you admitted the closed conservatory was for your comfort, rather than pretending it was for mine. Because when I was shaking, you gave me silence instead of a solution. I held out my hand. And because when I imagine an ordinary Tuesday, you are the person I want inside it. She took my hand. I am still afraid you will realize this was only relief after Serena. Then we moved slowly enough to find out. That is not very dramatic. Roxie used the family supply. Lena smiled. I asked permission before touching her cheek. She said yes. Her eyes closed when I leaned in. Our first kiss was soft and careful, a question neither of us rushed to answer. The second was warmer.
She stepped closer and held the front of my jacket as the river wind moved around us. My phone vibrated. Roxie's message read, "Did ordinary Tuesday become romantic Tuesday?" I showed Lena. "How does she know?" Lena asked. "Chaos has analytics," I replied. "This one stays private." Roxie sent 7 broken heart emojis and, for once, no photograph. 3 weeks later, Lena invited me to dinner at the estate. She asked. I chose yes. Vivian opened the front door without a legal pad. Roxie stood behind her while a security guard removed 2 phones, a miniature camera, and a microphone hidden inside a bread roll. "This family has abandoned civil liberties," Roxie said. "This family searched the bread," Vivian replied. The dining room was the same one where Serena had called me her pet. Without a role to perform, the table looked smaller. Helena apologized once more before dinner and did not turn the apology into a speech. Lena sat beside me. Her knee rested lightly against mine beneath the table. Serena sat across from us. She had returned to university but remained on leave from the foundation committee while the independent review continued. She looked quieter, not defeated, more like someone listening to a room before deciding it needed correction. "Did the housing repair finish?" she asked me. "Yesterday." Her instinct visibly prepared 3 follow-up solutions. She stopped it. "Do you want help recovering the rent you paid during repairs?" "Vivian already sent me a legal template. I can handle it." "All right." No offense, no second offer. The answer was small enough that nobody else reacted. I noticed. Halfway through dinner, Roxie dropped her fork. "I cannot endure this mature silence. I need an official family status report." Vivian closed her eyes. Roxie pointed between Lena and me. "Are you dating? Does he remain available for festival visitation? Is the pet joke permanently illegal?"
Lena looked at me before answering.
May I issue a statement?
Limited to 2 sentences. She folded her hands with exaggerated seriousness.
"Theo belongs to himself. We are dating because both of us keep choosing it." Roxie burst into applause. Vivian reminded her that a question remained about the pet joke. "Illegal without payment," I said. Roxie transferred $50 and raised her glass. "To the family pet. That is now 100. She paid again while everyone laughed, including Serena. The laugh hurt her. I saw it. She did not use pain as a claim. After dinner, Roxie asked permission to take 1 photograph of the table without faces. I agreed. She captured coffee cups, dessert plates, and the stuffed black dog sitting in an empty chair. "No posting," I reminded her. "Private art remains oppressed." Serena held out her hand. Roxie gave her the phone. Serena checked the frame and showed it to me rather than deciding for me. "Keep it," I said. She returned the phone. "You heard him. No posting." 1 month later, Lena and I sat in the conservatory maintenance room repairing the recorder. The orchid pipe worked. My jacket remained clean. Her coffee had milk and no sugar,
Mine had 2 sugars, properly stirred. The dinner video had vanished from the largest accounts under the injunction. A few copies would always survive, but they no longer controlled the story attached to my name. Vivian occasionally sent joke contracts with every ownership clause crossed out. Roxie started a private folder called Content Theo Denied Me. Lena scheduled 2 family dinners each month and denied evaluating Lena's dating standards. Serena kept a respectful distance. When she needed something, she asked. Sometimes I said no. She accepted it without making the refusal expensive. That became a better apology than any speech. The recorder motor finally turned. A weak hiss came through the headphones, followed by a fragment of an old song.
Lena smiled and slid a packet of crackers across the table. Emergency snack. I stared at it. These regular snacks are starting to look suspiciously like a feeding program. She immediately reached to take it back. I caught her fingers. Relax, I consent to snacks. She laughed and leaned across the table to kiss me. I entered the Vale estate as a $500 fake boyfriend. Before dinner ended, the Ice Queen called me her pet. A lawyer opened a custody file, a pink-haired agent of chaos attempted adoption, and a quiet woman asked whether I wanted to leave. 3 days later, nobody owned me. That was why my choice meant something. Love was not the person who made escape impossible, or the person who needed me most. It was the person who could hear no without turning affection into punishment. Serena learned to ask. Her sisters learned that protecting a choice was not the same as making it. And I learned that the safest place to stay was the place where the door remained open. For the record, the family still calls the entire disaster the custody weekend. I call it the most expensive pet joke in history. Roxie still owes me $200.